Merry Christmas to you all from BWTM Sports Gaming. Merry Christmas, happy holidays if you do not celebrate Christmas, and I hope that all is well with you and your family. If you're not with family and you're by yourself, I hope that this video finds you in good health and in a good state of mind and at peace. So, Chris Eubank Jr. is the discussion for Christmas Day. I thought I would do a topic, one which I haven't spoken about much, but one which is a fighter that I like. And I think Christmas Day, I might as well talk about somebody that I like in boxing and sort of like why I like Chris Eubank Jr. and why there's a lot of sort of like contradictions and hypocrisy in boxing. So let's talk about Chris Eubank Jr. right here on BWTN Sports. Don't go anywhere. We'll be soon back. So there you go. There's our new intro. A bit slower, a little bit more relaxed. May change it again, but for now, it's nice and chilled. So Chris Eubank Jr. is the discussion for today, or for the Christmas Day. I hope that you're well. So Chris Eubank Jr., his career is an interesting one. We all know his father was a legend in Chris Eubank Sr. We know the amount of title defenses he had, simply the best. Had some amateur background. I think he boxed in the Golden Gloves in New York, I believe. But he didn't have, I don't think he fought in the ABAs, or he wasn't an Olympic champion or anything like that. And he went to Barry Hearn, I understand, and they managed Eubank's career meticulously. They managed his career meticulously. And he went on to become world champion. He beat Nigel Benn in an epic fight, so on and so forth. Eubank came out to simply the best. He was either loved by the British public or he was hated. It's quite common for the British public to hate a winner. I don't know why that is, but it just seems to be the case that they seem to hate winners or detest people that are winning. I don't know. I've never understood why that is the case, but it surely is the case. They rather see a person lose, you know. And a perfect example of that would have been when Chris Eubank Sr., when he lost for the first time against Steve Collins. People were cheering and celebrating him. And after he lost against Collins, he was like getting revered and getting more attention because he lost. I never understood it. And then the back end of his career, fights against Calzaghe and Carl Thompson when he moved up to cruiserweight, and almost did the unthinkable and stopped Carl Thompson coming from middleweight right up to cruiserweight, almost doing it there. I don't think Chris Eubank Jr. Sr. was appreciated. Now let's talk about Chris Jr. And there are certain areas of the media that say the same script over and over again. And the script is this. Well, you know, Eubank Jr. did not come from no stellar amateur background. We know that he didn't, win no ABAs. He didn't win, in the Olympics. So, Eubank Jr. came from much like his father. Maybe his father had more fights, but didn't have a stellar amateur career to fall back on. And difference between junior and senior is that Junior's career, as far as I'm concerned, was mismanaged. No way would Chris Eubank Sr. have gone and fought Billy Joe Saunders back then at the level of the opposition that Billy Joe Saunders was. British. I think Saunders was British, Commonwealth, and European champion at that time, I believe. And Eubank Sr., when he finally stepped up, it was a fight against Nigel Benn. So there were not many learning fights. Eubank hadn't gone 12 rounds. I think he maybe just gone 10 rounds against, what's his name? Maybe against, what's this guy's name? Nick Blackwell, but he hadn't been in many fights to get that sort of experience to jump from where he'd been fighting to suddenly fight Billy Joe Saunders. And Eubank Sr. was in his corner and was managing and allowing that to happen. So right there and then, Eubank Sr.'s career wasn't even run like that. So that's something I picked up right there, and I got going back. But anyway, Eubank Jr., the first thing was, and it used to be like his father was around him every time he was out there getting to be known and stuff like that. But that was because, you know, the father wanted to see, but I think the father still wanted to be within the limelight, from what I understand, from what I see. He seemed like he still wanted to be in the limelight. Yes, I'm Eubank Sr. Yes, I was the former WBO champion. Yes, I had X amount of title defenses. Yes, I fought an epic fight against Nigel Benn, and I beat Nigel Benn, blah, 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 blah. You know, I speak with a lisp, I no longer have a lisp. All these things, you know. Eubank would parade himself at press conferences and big fights, and even was parading himself on the night that he really shouldn't have been in the ring that night, and should have had Junior listening to his corner, you know, to win that fight against Saunders. Because if you think about it, that night, I mean, yes, Eubank Jr. for the first 6 rounds kind of sat back because he didn't know he could do the 12-round distance. That was the plan. But you know what I mean? If you think about it, if Eubank had put his foot down for at least another 2-3 rounds, the fight could have been different. People say that Saunders boxed the living daylights out of Eubank. That was a bit of an exaggeration. Yeah, he beat Chris Eubank Jr. But if you go back and look at the fight, there was, I think it was round 6 or round 8. Eubank hits him with a 1-2, and Saunders stumbles back to the corner. But I don't think even Eubank's corner caught that, or Eubank himself caught that. So there are things there. Anyway, much ado about nothing. Talking about Chris Eubank Jr.'s career, they say, well, every time Eubank Jr. steps up, he fails. Hold on. Wait a second. So if I'm wrong, count me if I'm wrong here, but the IBO title, now I remember the IBO title when it first came out. The IBO title was only given to champions. It was given to people who were legitimately the best in the division, the IBO title. I remember when Roy Jones had it, I think George Foreman got it, Lennox Lewis had it. And if you look at the undisputed belts, the IBO is in there. So are we saying the IBO belt is not a world title? Are we saying that, boxing fans? Are we saying that the IBO is not a legitimate world title? Because it's not a legitimate title, then fine. Eubank Jr. has not won a world title. But if it's a legitimate world title, why are we saying, when is he going to fight for a world title? Didn't he win the IBO championship of the world? I don't understand that. So from a guy that had limited amateur background experience to go in there and fight some professional fighters and beat them, the likes of Arthur Abraham, and quite a few others, if I go for the Eubank resume. And then you think of guys like George Groves, Billy Joe Saunders, those guys that have beaten Chris Eubank Jr. You look at it, and you look at the tournament Eubank Jr. was in. Not a career super middleweight, but a middleweight, moving up fighting a super middleweight against physically bigger, stronger guys. British boxing fans in general are ungrateful sods, because on one hand you're saying, oh, he doesn't fight the best fighters in the world, but then when he steps up and fights the best fighters in the world, he's coming up short. But then if you have a Floyd Mayweather situation where he steps up and beats the best fighters in the world, then he hasn't beaten King Kong. So for me, honestly, I think Eubank Jr. has done damn well in his career when you think about where he's come from and what he's had, because ultimately it doesn't matter if his dad's name is Eubank Sr. Jr. still has to fight. And Jr. does not need Senior at this point in his career. He doesn't. He doesn't need him at this point in his career. I'm sorry. Because as far as I'm concerned, when he started his career out, Eubank Sr. was there. And what did Eubank Sr. do? Yeah, I'm advising my son to do this. I'm advising my son to do that. You were one of the reasons why Eubank lost that fight against Saunders. And I think one of the reasons why Eubank Sr. cannot stand Eubank Jr. or is having problems with him is because he is going his own path and doing his own thing. When Eubank Sr. went out and did the things he was doing, he did it his way. Now, Senior wants to tell Junior how to do things. But really and truly, yes, he had a WBO title shot and he became world champion and all the rest of it. But let's be honest, the WBO title, with all due respect, back then, the WBO title, if you remember, WBO title back then was not given the sort of credibility it's given today. Yeah? If Anthony Joshua fought and won a WBO world title today, people would consider him a world champion. So the IBO belt that Eubank won, as far as I'm concerned, is a world title. It's a world title. It's as simple as that. Because, okay, the WBA super belt, super champion belt, that belt became in existence when Joshua and Klitschko fought for that title. But before that belt, before that fight, there was no existence of that title. So how can that WBA super champion belt be more relevant than the WBA belt? And more relevant than the IBO belt. I don't understand it. The things in boxing I don't understand. So I do not go by the thing by Eubank was stepped up and he's been beaten by better guys. At least he stepped up and fought those guys. At least he's been in there, and you can say he's gone in there with Groves. And let's get something straight here. He hasn't gone in against those guys and got blasted out of there. He hasn't gone out there, gone in them fights and got totally derailed and smashed to bits. He hasn't. He's given as good as he's got under using the skill set that he has, and Eubank can't do this and that. Mayweather could do it all, and you still complain about Mayweather. Mayweather's boring. So when you have the near perfect boxer, you complain because he's boring, and then you have a guy that hasn't got nowhere near the skill set of Mayweather, and you're criticizing him. You've got someone like Deontay Wilder, who's a power puncher, knocks people out, spark, and is excited to watch. Yet you call him a windmiller, and he's not got boxing ability. I mean, what do you want? What are you looking for, boxing fans? A lot of these Golovkin fans, I go on about them, all these Golovkin fans, Golovkin's this, Golovkin's that. You go on Golovkin's resume and you tell me which grade A top fighter has Golovkin knocked out and rendered unconscious. Grade A. Grade A. I'm talking about the top fighters. Or come close to knocking out. At least with Deontay Wilder, he dropped Tyson Fury 4 times in 3 fights. So you can see this guy can punch. He knocked out Luis Ortiz, who was the bogeyman of the division. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I don't understand certain things. Some things in boxing I don't get. So for me, Eubank Jr. he's done well for his career. Considering where he's come from to where he is now, he's done damn well for his career. So let's assess this now. 2023. Okay, so now in one of the biggest fights of his career, the Conor Benn fight, because people will say, if he beats Conor Benn, we'll say, well, Conor Benn was a welterweight that moved up. That's what they'll say. And they'll make it very clear. When Brook moved up 2 weight divisions to fight Golovkin, it was all right. Golovkin beat him, but that's Golovkin because he's a legend. When Conor moves up 2 divisions to go and fight Canelo, it's all right because, he's a legend. Right? Now, Ben goes up 2 weight divisions and fights Eubank. He gets beat. They'll say, well, Eubank, Ben was too small. So, wait, are we going to say in boxing that there are weight categories for a reason? Are we going to use that when we want to use that, or are we going to use that all the time? That's the question I'm asking as well while I'm ranting on and going. I'm going to get all these things out of my system, and then, of course, I will address you all in the comment section. The other thing I want to talk about is Eubank Jr. As I'm saying, I think that he's at a stage of his career where the light has shined on him, because he escaped a very dangerous situation with a guy who was found to have failed 2 drug tests, was going in there healthy, strong, powerful, going in against a weakened Chris Eubank Jr. And he looked gaunt. And anybody who could turn around and say to me, that was acceptable, that fight should have gone ahead. Looking at the state of Eubank then, there's a problem. There's a serious problem. That fight should not have gone ahead. So now that's happened. And Eubank Jr., if you remember, was painted as the villain, painted as the bad guy for speaking his mind and sharing his thoughts. And Eubank is pretty articulate. In fact, I think Eubank Jr. articulates himself better than Eubank Sr. In my opinion, I think he articulates himself more. And I believe Eubank Jr. is more believable than Eubank Sr. You know, there was always the sort of, with Eubank Sr., it was all like he was playing to the crowd. Where Eubank Jr. does it. If he's doing it, he does it a lot more naturally. Not like he's forcing it. And he tends to camera's gone. Oh, we're back again. Sorry about that. Don't know what happened there. Anyway, so he said some things about Conor Benn and the drug testing. He said, well, you've been away 3 months. You come up with a dossier saying that your team say that you're innocent to prove you're innocent. But, you know, the only way, as far as I'm concerned, Eubank said, is that there's got to be a video of you being pinned down by 5 or 6 men and you've been injected with this drugs. And then it's believable. Otherwise, it's not believable. He's saying, now you have to come out. I'm sure you'll fight again. Come out and fight. When you do fight, come out of hiding. When you do fight, you're no longer going to be the golden boy of matchroom boxing. You now are going to have to take it and accept that you're going to get booed into arenas, like I was getting booed into arenas. You're going to have to accept for the rest of your career, you're going to be considered a drug cheat. And every time you box, the eyes are going to be on you. Now, what will be very interesting about Conor Benn's career is that will he be still as effective when he comes back after the drugs testing, after we've seen? Is he still going to be the same explosive fighter, or is he going to look different when he comes back and fights? That will be the telltale side. Now, last night I was on Ultra Tech's boxing show. Ultra Tech is a very good friend of mine. Do check him out on YouTube. Now, it came out as revelation. Don't know how true this is, but Conor Benn, apparently, the fertility drug that was caught in his system was, I don't know how true this is. It was while he was having intimate relationships with his wife, is how he was able to, let's say, digest the substances that he was caught with. So you basically, without going into too much detail, you have to read between the lines, Conor Benn ingested, because his wife was on a fertility. I don't know how true this is. And I tell you, if this is what's coming out of boxing and this is what it's going to be, then it's not my business. And if Eubank Jr. gets anywhere whiff or hear that, and he gets to hear this stuff, Conor Benn is finished, absolutely finished. I mean, I don't know how you can come back and box after that and have a straight face and people take you seriously, because then everybody's going to come out and say, well, you know, I was having sexual relations with my missus, with my wife, and that's how I got caught with PEDs. Substance was found in the system Called home, I don't know. His wife has also come out and said that she was on something, and that's how Conor got it. I mean, I don't know how true it is, and let's hope that it's not true, because if it is true, ouch. Anyway, let's move away from that as far as possible. Eubank speaks like a legend. Eubank is pay-per-view. He is pay-per-view, right? As far as I'm concerned, he's pay-per-view. But this is the but. This is what he needs to do in 2023. He literally needs to go out there against Liam Smith, and he has to knock Liam Smith out. Out. Not like beat him up and go to a point. He has to knock Smith out inside 6 rounds. Like, knock him out. Do what no man's ever done to him before. He's got to knock Smith out. If he knocks Smith out, when everyone's saying, oh, Smith is technically the better boxer, he's a better inside guy, I pick Smith to win. Smith, in a lot of people's eyes, is the favorite for this fight. So Eubank has to go out there. Oh, he's going to use the Roy Jones style. He's going to use this style. Wait, you criticize Eubank Jr. for not being able to box, not being able to throw a jab. Now the guy decides to go and get a trainer to learn how to box. You criticize him again, saying, oh, he's trying to box like Roy Jones Jr. What the hell do you want him to do? So these people who make these boxing commentators and writers, they need to be slammed. A lot of these guys have never boxed before, so they don't appreciate what it takes for a person to get in the ring and box, and get in the ring and come up short, get in the ring and work on the jab, on developing the jab, or developing how to throw the right hand, or developing how to slip the hook. They don't understand. They don't appreciate that. Do you understand? So a lot of these guys that are writing don't appreciate it. And I think I'm getting to the point now where a lot of these guys need to wipe to the side. You need to ignore them, because they talk a whole heap of rubbish. They don't even make sense. And they contradict themselves all the time. And what they write, they don't write what serves the boxing public. They write what serves the promoter. They write whatever agenda is on at the time, whether that be a racist agenda, whether that be a ageist agenda, whether it be a background agenda, whether it be a Kabbalist agenda. In other words, you're part of the team, you're not part of the team. Whether you've pissed off the promoter, there's always some agenda these guys are on other than boxing. And if these guys stuck to just boxing, we'd have far more educated fans. But because some of these boxing commentators and boxing writers are so dumb, they're dumbing down boxing fans. And that's where we're coming out with such rubbish. And the whole lot of them needs to be axed or just boycotted. In 2023, a lot of these guys, from my I'm concerned, are getting boycotted. I don't want Eddie Hearn can't come and tell me about boxing. He'll never be able to tell me anything about boxing. He's an accountant. Stay in your lane. You're an accountant. You're a promoter. Stay in your lane. Well, I think this guy can do this and that guy can do. No, you don't. Shut up. Shut up. You're a promoter. Bitch, stick to being a promoter. Stick to being a promoter. Do that and do that right. And look after your fighters and get your fighters out often. That's what you need to be doing. I think Tyson Fury should shut up. Don't want to hear what you got to say about that. But Eubank Jr., he needs to beat Liam Smith. He talks like a legend. He talks like, listen, he looks good. Eubank looks good. He talks well. He's got a superstar coach in Roy Jones Jr. He can talk in the camera. He can articulate himself well. He's got all the camera for the punches in bunches. He's pay-per-view. He just needs pay-per-view guys to fight against. And that's why he needs to literally destroy Liam Smith. Destroy him. Do you think Liam Smith would have done any better in the Super Series? Why you about to fight? Yeah. Do you think he would have done any better in the Super Series? Do you think Liam Smith would have beaten? Do you think Liam Smith would have beaten George Groves? How do you think Liam Smith would have done against Arthur Abrams? Let's ask him questions. How would he done against Billy Joe Saunders? You know, they say this thing. Oh yeah, he fought Canelo. Got beat up by Canelo. I fought Jaime Moinga. Yeah, he got beat by him as well. Well, I fought with better caliber guys. Well, did you beat them? You came up short when you fought those guys. I don't anybody say anything about, well, Liam Smith, when he fought Canelo, he came up short. When he fought Jaime Moinga, oh, he came up short. Didn't hear that. Don't hear that. You got beaten the crap out by Canelo. Don't even say about that. Oh, when Eubank, and he's got the coveted amateur background and the pedigree. The Smith brothers. I'm not knocking Liam Smith here. I'm just letting you see the scripts that are there, the garbage scripts that are there that are written. You know, you might not come out and box. Oh, you come out and box. Wait, I thought you the ones who said he couldn't box. You the ones who said he couldn't box. Oh, you listen to him. Oh, you might come and try and box. You try and box. Isn't this art of sport to box? Is it boxing? He's not going to try and box. He's not a guy that's like being brought out, just a novice, never boxed before, and pulled into the ring and box. He's going to try and box. Try and box. He's not going to try and box. He's going to box. He might not box to the standard of a Canelo, or he might box to the standard of, a Mayweather, but he's going to box. So don't tell me crap about he's going to try and box. He's going to box. He's not going to try and box. He's going to box. It's the art of boxing, right? I don't get it. It's rubbish. And it's subliminal message they put into your brain, the things they say. Anyway, enough of me ranting. Let me address the room, because I haven't addressed the room and I haven't done that in a while. So I thought I would address the room. Right. People in the house. Let's see what people are saying. Let's go. Everything is energy. Merry Christmas to you too. He beat the Gale. Yeah, and he beat the Gale as well. Yes. Merry Christmas, bro. Shout out to my member there, my bro. Goes Eubank Jr. as a fighter entertains me far greater than box standard boxing matches. Absolutely. He's entertaining to listen to watch, to 60%, to KFC. Guilty until proven innocent, in my opinion. Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll know the outcome of that Eubank Ben fight, but I think Ben would have gassed late and been stopped. Damn shame, that could have been a hell of a battle. Should happen in 2023, in my opinion. But yeah, I think he should. Eubank was so drained, he couldn't have put on a slab. He's so drained, he could have put him on a slab all for cheating. I know. He's laughing. Let's go there. They said a 218-page document. An innocent man doesn't need a 280 document. That's just lawyers drowning you in paperwork. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I hope that's the case, but it seems unlikely. But good excuse for Ben. He wants to kill Chris. Matchroom are falling apart. Look at Cole and Tasha Jonas. They will try and cut lawyer out and put lawyer out. Lawyer you. Accountants, not promoters. Yeah, I'm glad. I'm happy. Let Hype Room fall to bits. Yes! Glad. Beefy beats Eubank every day of the week, Ingram. Well, we'll see. I hope so. And I hope you come back. Please hold that comment right there and please come back in the chat afterwards, because I'm not really taking your comment as anything more than just a comment anymore. I'm not adding any worth in it. Do you know why? Because the majority of you guys, when you leave your comments and then you get it wrong, you don't come back here. So it is what it is. He's never fought for a world title properly. So what does that mean? So wait a second. The IBO belt, is it legit or not? Because if it's not legit, then George Foreman, when he had the IBO belt, was not legit. Then Lennox Lewis, when he had the IBO belt, was not legit. Then Roy Jones Jr., when he had the IBO belt, was not legit. Then Anthony Joshua's got the IBO belt, is not legit. Then Alexander Usyk, who's got the belt, is not legit. The IBO belt is a legit belt, so I'm not having that. Sorry. Eubank's terrible. Anyone can do the tippy-tatty punches hitting gloves. Again, I think you're basically coming from the Sky Sports mantra. Well, I've explained this already, so I'm not going to go into that again. Let me move on. Hello, Ingram. Now we wait for Eubank Jr. to put a signature performance if he can. That's what I'm saying. He needs to put that signature performance on this fight against Smith. Merry Christmas to everybody. Indeed. I'm just going to inspire 50%. That should be more than enough Eubank quotes. Yeah, I find it funny. Are you going to find it funny? It's entertaining. It's funny. And Beefy Smith is like fuming. He's fuming. You listen, if you don't find that entertaining, if you don't find that funny, then I don't know what. Boxing is about entertainment. It's about, it's excitement. Eubank is exciting. He's entertaining. I mean, he is what he is. Do you know what I mean? And I will enjoy him for what he is. I will enjoy him for what he is. And I hope he does beat Beefy Smith. And the reason why I hope he beats Beefy Smith is twofold. The one thing, well, you know what? I'm telling you now what the excuses will be if if Beefy Smith gets beat by Eubank Jr. Watch. A, he's older. He's in age. He's older. He's come to the end of his career. B, he moved up in weight. He wasn't strong enough. Eubank was physically bigger and stronger than him. That's the two things they'll say. That he was past the sell-by date. That's what they will say. So, is he a legit middleweight? That's what they're going to say as well. He's not a legit middleweight. Who did he beat at middleweight? That's what they'll say. I'd like to thank KFC. They're officially my sponsor for the camp. You have to laugh. You have to laugh. The other person in British boxing, Tyson Fury's got his own coarse way of being funny. But the other guy who Eubank is on the levels of is Prince Naseem Hamed. You remember Naseem Hamed used to be cheeky, used to say things, he used to say things tongue-in-cheek. You knew that Eubank did it tongue-in-cheek. And see, Eubank Jr. does it, but he doesn't give you the thing about him. He does it, but he doesn't give you that tongue-in-cheek wink. He doesn't do that. But when he's off camera, he's laughing his head off. The body attack on Smith is something lethal, and I've not seen him being able to come back from that versus headshots. That body attack on Smith is something lethal, and I've not seen him be able to come back from that versus headshots. Well, I don't know. Smith is going to have to deal with hand speed, because I think hand speed, when Eubank rattles off 5 and 6 punches on Smith, we'll see. We'll see. I was just thinking about the McGuigan one. If I was in McGuigan's time, I'd have knocked his spark out. Naseem Hamed while McGuigan was there. Yeah, it's stuff like that. It's stuff like that that make Naseem what he was. Even when he made a comeback as a commentator and he was on ITV, he's short-lived commentator, and he turned around to Eubank. Eubank Jr. said, he told Chris he needs to retire. But which camera is it? He needs to retire. That Prince Naseem Hamed is a legend. He was a legend not just because of his fighting skills and what he did inside the ring. He was a legend because of what he did outside the ring. All the antics he played outside the ring, all the ring entrances, the flying carpet, When he called Billy Hardy big ears. Remember Billy Hardy? Billy Hardy had really big ears. And he went out there and he done Billy Hardy in a round. Yeah, like that. When you talk about levels, it was Naseem Hamed that put that thing about levels. He got these guys at British level. Right, yeah, he's the best of Britain. It's the best that British can provide. And Hamed would just cut them, bang them out. And he was like, yeah. Hamed was the man. I don't care. Hamed was the man. Nobody can come and tell me crap about, Hamed lost there to Barrera. Well, Barrera was one of the greats. So I think Naseem lives in KFC now. Hamed, honestly, as a commentator, made him short-lived as a commentator. I think that's also why Frotch has sometimes been sidelined from climbing the ranks. Yeah, but it's true. Speak your mind, and that's why Paulie Malignaggi was in the UK. I know he does some other things, controversy around Paulie Malignaggi, but he spoke his mind, and that's what's needed in boxing. You need to speak your mind, and I just wished they did a boxing show with just pure, raw, unedited truth. That's why people kind of like John Fury, because he speaks his truth. But then every time you see John Fury, you're always clutching your seat because you're wondering what's the next disaster he's going to get himself into. Is he going to be taking his shit off like Hulk Hogan and trying to have a fist fight? I mean, what is next with John Fury? So it's like you need people going to speak their mind. Nas was the only boxer who could make Buffer say Shada. LOL. Nas was not scared to represent his religion. No, he wasn't. He was a proud Muslim, and he was no qualms about it either. No qualms about it. And again, a man that I have utmost respect for. I love Naseem, man. I was fortunate to be able to get an interview with Naseem, and I'll tell you how it went. So I was at Froch Groves 2 weigh-in, and Nas went past me. I went, Nas. I was here. He was with me, Clifton Mitchell. I went, Nas, can I get an interview with you? Yeah, bro. Everyone's on me, man. Everyone's on my ends at the end of the day, bro. Look, I've done an interview with Kugan Cassius. Did a 5-minute interview with him, right? And I'm busy, man. I'm busy, bro. But come on, Prince Naseem Hamed. I grew up watching you, legendary Prince Naseem. He said, all right, I'll give you 5 minutes. The guy gave me 10 minutes of legendary stuff. Prince Naseem Hamed. You know when you meet a person and like you've already got that respect for them. It's not so much he did the interview, it's that he made me work for the interview and then gave me the interview, which was just stuff. It's like gold dust talking to a legend like him. He was an absolute legend, but he didn't know who Carl Frampton was, which was quite interesting. Froch's just been called for International Boxing Hall of Fame. He thought it was a wind-up. No, he should get it. He should definitely get it. You look at Froch's resume and the guys he fought. Jermaine Taylor to win the title. Came from behind. Jean Pascal. He won the title against Jean Pascal. Came from behind to defend the title. First defense against Jermaine Taylor. The Americans thought Jermaine Taylor was going to whoop Froch's behind. Glenn Johnson, Butte, Ward, Arthur Abraham. Froch fought Burrell. Froch fought some bad men. So, Froch deserves it, man. Froch deserves it. Paulie Malignaggi was the only commentator calling them to stop the Broner Maidana fight when he knew Broner's jaw was already broken. Wow. There's only one reason why Ingram Jones would not have made it in British boxing as a commentator. Too much honesty. The ING gets on the mic. Cut mid-conversation with Adam Smith. Smithy's gone. Do you have a link to that interview, please? Yeah, let me pull that for you now. Let me pull that for you. Let me see if I can find it. Might be either on this one or my other channel. Let me get it for you now. I'll look at it for you. Get it. Got it. It's here. Video. See if you've got it here. Come on. Let's see if I can find it. I'm not here to see. Let's try Baylor. Try Princess in Bayloric. Not there. It's there. I've got the interview. I've got to try and find it now. Let me try this one. I'm going to try and find it. I'm looking for it now. I've got to try and find it. I've got to find it somewhere. I've got it here. Hold up. Not there. I've got it. No, it says somewhere. Probably BWTM online. It might be there. No, say it's there. Nope. I'm just searching for it. Say it's on the channel. It's where it is on it. Yeah. See, look at that. It's there. Okay, let's see that. Oh, nothing. Okay, let me just bring this up for you so you can see it. Oh, what's going on here? Right, I found it for you. I found it for you. Let me find it. Let me get the share screen so you can see it, so people know I'm not talking rubbish. Because you know there are a lot of wafflers on YouTube. Let me get it for you. I'll get it now. I've got it. Here you go. That's it. There you go. Let me bring the screen down so you can see. Oh God.
We're here with Prince Naseem and Clifton Mitchell. Guys, the atmosphere, what do you think?
Absolutely tremendous atmosphere. A tremendous turnout for a weigh-in. It reminds me of...
Okay, well there it is there. Can you see it? I hope you can see that. Can you see it? Can you see it? That's the interview there. Should I play it? Can you hear it? Can you hear it? There's the interview there. You can watch it in your own time, but let me get the link for you. Oh, come on, where's the link? Can you believe I've got the video up? There you go. Go there. There you go. Get that. Copy that. Copy that. And then close that there. And then bring it up on StreamYard so you can see it. And then there you go. That's the link. I've just shared the link for you in the... There's a link in the description box. That's for you guys. Watch it on Facebook. That's the link there. There you go. So, yeah, that was when I was... That was when I was in my prime, mate. That was when I was prime. That was prime IJ there. So there's the link. They're thinking of making a biopic about Nas. They should. Froch's performance in the Super Six was legendary. Whether he won or not, he and Ward were the only ones standing at the end of the night. Yeah, and of course, Froch versus Kessler, 1 and 2. So remember those fights. Ingram, yes, J. Ruse, Merry Christmas to you, bro. Hope all is well. If Eubank is going to make a serious title run, time is of the essence. Same thing with Joyce. Joyce, I'm not so bothered about. He'll get his world title shot. I'm not worried about Joyce. Eubank is the one I'm concerned about. They asked Bunce who film you most like to see. He said Nas, and I'd start with Nas. Only tiny, being bullied in school playground by 5 boys, but fighting them all off. Brendan sees this. I think in about 2 years, Karen DeBar will be beating on Carissa Shields' door. Her development is actually going on nicely. While I think her brother might have plateaued. I told you about Dubois already. I warned you all. Did I not warn you about Dubois? I warned you about Dubois from the stories I got inspiring about him. I warned you, the Tin Man. I said it, but you all have to see it for yourselves, and now you're seeing it. Looks good. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you. Absolutely, you too. Thank you so much. So yeah, I've just seen now why the videos are not being shared on my channel. I'm going to have to go back and retitle all these videos. It's not good. I have to go and search for that. So yeah, so Eubank Jr., time is of the essence. He has to go out there and a points victory is not enough. He has to go out there and he has to stop Smith. Stop him. Stop him. Knock him out. Like, boom, boom, knock him out. Like him, send him for the ropes, that sort of thing. Because, bro, what did I tell you about Dubois? The Ingles serious foresight. Yeah, I told you about Dubois. I warned you about Dubois. Tin Man. Tin Man. Tin Man. I told you. And ever since that joy, and do you know why I was very concerned? Believe it or not, is the Trevor Bryant fight. Go back and look at the Trevor Bryant fight again. Don't look at how he knocks out Bryant. Look at what happens before the Bryant fight in the first round. Bryant throws a jab at Dubois, and Dubois literally stops in his tracks. Right there, I'm thinking to myself, this guy, there's some issues there. But it's all right. It's all right. Let them keep hyping Dubois up. Let him keep hyping Dubois up. But Shane McGuigan is not going to save Dubois. What does Shane McGuigan know about training heavyweights anyway? What the hell does Shane McGuigan know about training heavyweights? It's all right. Give it time. The guy I've got my eye on for 2023 is Richard Riakporhe. Richard Riakporhe, I rate highly. I think that guy is a world champion in the making. I would like to see Richard Riakporhe at cruiserweight. I'd like to see him move up to bridgerweight and then maybe go at heavyweight. I seriously, I rate Richard Riakporhe. I rate him very highly. I do. Lawrence Okoli. There was talk about him moving up to heavyweight as well. So I don't know what's going to happen with him now. We'll see. He's moved. He's out of contract now. I don't know if he's going to go to boxer or what. I don't know what the story is on that. But yeah, I'm happy for Lawrence Okoli. I don't know. And Buatsi is one I've got no faith in. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Jared Anderson looks good. Well, what did I tell you about Jared Anderson? If you punch with Jared Anderson, there's a problem. And I don't think it'll be a young guy that beats Jared Anderson. I think it'll be one of these seasoned guys that's going to beat Anderson. One of these guys who may have had one or two losses. That's the kind of guy that's going to beat Anderson. That's what I think. One of these kind of guys that knows how to punch inside, experienced fighter, can punch with Anderson. Anderson reminds me, the British version of Anderson is this guy here, Wardley. I see the comparison. See, you have to hit Anderson to wake him up, and you have to hit Wardley to wake him up, and they both punch very hard. Right? So Wardley and Anderson, they've got that similar sort of energy about them. You've got to hit them to wake them up, to see anything from them. Watch Fabio Wardley, watch Anderson. So they fight they've got another gear in them, you know? Vicious, nasty finishes. Yeah. So I just think Wardley needs to move to another trainer to take him to that next level. His trainer's good, just needs to move to that next level. I think Anderson's got something there, but whether he is what everyone's building him up to be, that I am not sure of. Whether he's the heavyweight champion in waiting, I don't see that yet. Because he's American and because he's one of the few Americans that are around that is active and looks half decent, there's a clamor for him. I get it. I understand. But that doesn't, for me, make Anderson legit. Do you understand? What he did against Jerry Forrest, don't get me wrong, was impressive. Yes, it was impressive. And that's good. But I don't know. How many rounds will Yard last? Well, if he boxes like he boxed against that guy, he might not get out of round 2. I'm telling you now, he might not get out of round 2. He might not get out of round 2. I'm serious, because he's getting hit more and more. And if he gets hit by Beterbiev or Beterbiev, whichever one you want to call him, I'm going to call him Beterbiev for this one. Beterbiev. Do you think there's a dearth of good trainers for heavyweights in the current era, Ingram? How many good heavyweight trainers are there? That's the question. You know, and where's our next batch of trainers coming from? And who is training? At least you had Eddie Futch and all these other good trainers that were passing the knowledge on. So who's like Uncle Bashir passing his knowledge on to? Who's he passing knowledge on to? Who will Buddy McGirt pass his knowledge on to? Sugar Hill? Emmanuel Stewart passed some knowledge on to him, but if you listen to Bashir and you look at the time, Sugar Hill and Stewart weren't that close. You just have to look at Stewart's work. How many times did you see Sugar Hill around him? And there is an age there as well. So it's what's coming next. What do I think of Jermaine Franklin? I think he's good. He's good. I think he needs to fight more regularly. He's decent. Jermaine Franklin reminds me of the old 80s heavyweights, the Tony Tubbs, that era. He reminds me of those 80s, 90s heavyweights. And I think that it's because he doesn't talk much. He's not a talker. So he needs a colorful promoter. That's what he needs. Sugar Hill and Tyson partnership is unbeatable. Unbeatable, not sure. Don't know about unbeatable. If you look at the guys, this is not a knock on Tyson Fury. The best guy Tyson Fury fought technically would have been Vladimir Klitschko. Never gave him the rematch. Now, after that, you look at the guys that have been pretty flawed technically. Wilder, technically flawed. Tyson is superior, better boxer than Wilder. You look at White and Chisora. You look at Otto Volin, gave him all sorts of problems. Technically, he was a better boxer than advertised. That's why he gave Tyson problems. Now he fights Usyk. Let's see now how unbeatable they are when they fight a guy who A, is unbeaten, B, is not scared of Tyson Fury, and C, has got pedigree behind them. Distance, speed, timing, movement. Let's see how good Tyson Fury is now against a guy who, on paper, if you put Tyson Fury and Usyk at the same size, at the same weight, who's the better boxer? And let's look at what Tyson Fury did against Otto Volin, who's a southpaw. Didn't look great against Otto Volin. So all this stuff about Tyson Fury's going to go out there and flatten Usyk, I don't know where that's coming from. You look at what Tyson Fury did against Steve Cunningham, another guy who's a good boxer. Tyson struggled against Steve Cunningham before getting a knockout. So think about this for a second. So it's slim pickings for the heavyweight trainers today. It is. It seems so. Because who's training? Yeah, Franklin's a throwback. That's what I think. I think he is. I think if he had, no disrespect to his trainer. I don't want to go along the lines of every guy just change his trainer. But you just think that if his trainer was a bit more quality, I think Franklin could have stopped White that night. I think he could have stopped him. But I don't think he sensed the moment when he hurt Dillian White. And the second thing is, it was Buddy McGirt in that corner that saved Dillian White that night. But if you listen to Buddy McGirt's instructions that night, he saved Dillian White, I think. He saved Dillian. Go back and watch that fight again and just listen to Buddy McGirt's instructions. He was cautioning White through the fight. Don't do this. Don't do that. You step off. Use a jab. And you can see where White was getting himself into danger. And whereas a less experienced trainer would have given him instructions to get knocked out, Buddy McGirt was steering him away from getting knocked out, steering him away from getting hurt in certain ways. Go back and look at the fight. So anyway, yeah, this was about Eubank Jr. I don't know how I've ended up getting to the heavyweights, but yeah. Again, it goes here. Franklin would stop White in a rematch. White is finished. Yep, I believe so. Right, guys. I'm going to come to the end of this show because it was all about Eubank Jr. Like I said, Eubank, the time is now. Get out there and stop Liam Smith. Stop Liam Smith. And really, then when you stop Liam Smith, you'll get the British backing. Because if you stop Liam Smith, believe me, this is what happens. If he stops Liam Smith, they're going to want him to fight Callum Smith. Yeah, they're going to want that to happen. Now Callum Smith's at light heavyweight. So I don't know if that fight can happen. But yeah. Right. That's it from me. Thank you so much for watching BWTM Sports as always. Let me leave you with the man himself. If I can bring him up, where is he? Let me leave you with the man himself, Mr. Christopher Eubank Jr., Mr. 60%, Mr. KFC, Mr. 50%, Mr. Big. Face up like a man. Be a man. Be a man and take the L's. Be a man and get booed in the ring, because I've done that. Mr. Christopher Eubank. Much love to you, brother. Merry Christmas. And all the best for 2022. We'll be cheering you on and wanting you to do the best that you can. That's it from me. Again, Merry Christmas to you, and see you soon. Take care.